I'm not entirely sure what Stephanie White is doing. I have absolutely no idea. To reiterate, I have no idea who this team is. No, I don't. Every game they play seems to be played differently. Well, that's her game plan, one could say. She plans each team's strategy. What are your thoughts on that? You must win these kinds of games. You must win games like this. If you want to compete for titles, she must acknowledge that her greatest playmaker is Caitlin Clark. She must also stop taking the GD ball away from Caitlin Clark when the fourth quarter arrives. I believe I have found the answer to the issues surrounding the Indiana Fevers. Listen to me. Listen to me. Listen to me. This is what we got to do. We got to put Caitlin Clark off ball. We need to run a motion offense. So when the defense takes away what Caitlin Clark does well, we have other players that can still perform. So when she does have bad games, we're not completely dead in the water. I think that is the greatest way to move forward with this Indiana Fever teeth. Okay? Enough is enough. What we just witnessed wasn't a loss. It was a total collapse. The Indiana Fever had the game in their hands and dropped it like a hot potato. Caitlin Clark's out here fighting for her life, and Stephanie White's just standing there, arms crossed, watching it all burn. Becky Hammon makes adjustments. Stephanie White adjusts her arms. Becky Hammon makes in-game modifications. Stephanie White makes arms crossed, 2 arms folded adjustments. Where are the plays? Where are the changes? This group appears disoriented, perplexed, and blatantly nonchalant. And let's not even discuss the alleged motion offense. We're in serious trouble if our strategy is to slip every screen and hope that Caitlin comes to our rescue. Are you curious about the true cause of the fever? Excellent. Let's discuss it. One of Caitlin Clark's major highlights, I guess, was when she pulled up for a long 3 directly in A'ja Wilson's face. It was pleasant. Here, there was no question about it. This is the Indiana Fever that I witnessed. It happened throughout the first half, according to Caitlin Clark's posse. They were 8 out of 11 from the field. Every other field goal attempt was 6 out of 19. Therefore, this team cannot score if Caitlin Clark is not delivering the ball. It was literally slipping through your screen. The 10-point advantage disappeared as if it had never been there. Even worse, it didn't seem like the Aces prevailed in that match. The Fever seemed to give it away as if they presented it with a bow and a thank you letter. Coach Stephanie White saw the entire situation collapse like a Jenga tower while standing there with her arms folded. When it counted, there were no timeouts. On the sidelines, there is no energy, not a fire. Where is the sense of urgency? Where is the leadership? I mean, really, how many blown leads must we endure before someone notices this? Will we continue to act as though nothing is wrong? For this, isn't it? Do you have any knowledge of the motion offense that we are promoting? Yes. What location is it? Because I'm not perceiving motion. It's more akin to being confused about sneakers at the neighborhood recreation center. I'm watching the Fever play what appears to be pickup ball. Caitlin won't have any flare displays, off-ball screens, staggered motions, or anything else. They are merely idly waiting for Caitlin to get out of control and save the day. That system isn't just wishful thinking. Let's also discuss Aaliyah Boston. In the first half, she scored 18. She was slick, dominant, and appeared to be getting ready for a professional night out. However, what was Becky Hammon up to during the half? Modified, changed each screen, removed the simple layup. The issue has been resolved. How did Stephanie White respond to it? Apart from cleaning the court herself, Caitlin Clark is doing everything. Let's be honest. Yes, she only made 1 out of 10 three-pointers and 7 out of 20 shots. However, have you noticed the pictures she's taking? Unsteady. Fiercely disputed shot clock desperation heaves towards the end. She somehow manages to finish with 19 points and 11 assists. As in how people are being set up by her in droves. Aaliyah is fed. Mitchell is SCRUTINISCD. Howard is touched as well. Crickets. However, when Clark needs a bucket, she is not given a screen by anyone. No one intentionally cuts. It appears that no one is interested in giving their celebrity a fair chance. They all seem to be waiting for her to perform a miracle. With each possession, why is Coach White not creating anything that would give Caitlin a simple rhythm look? Why does the offense not flow through her rather than around her? They seem to be unaware of who they have. How much longer do you think Clark can continue to lead this team alone? Okay, let's discuss the night's most bizarre rotation maneuver. Suddenly, during a close game, Brianna Turner shows up as if we've been watching her drop 20 to 10 every night. Well, she hasn't accomplished much. What occurs as soon as she enters? Turnover, blocked near the rim, failed assignments. I mean, yikes. She is being practically yelled at by Caitlin, get to the elbow, as if this is her first time practicing. This is the worst part. Even though he is still available, Dantas doesn't play a minute. Nothing. What was the strategy here? Boost Turner's self-confidence during a game that is broadcast nationwide. Reward poor performance. Make a point, whatever it was. The Fever suffered greatly as a result. Are we now merely hurling darts at a rotation chart, you ask? Do you recall how much hype there was throughout the offseason? Now we have depth. We have the deepest Fever roster in years with this one. Yes, regarding that, a pair of benchmarks. That's all. 2, Cunningham, Sophie, nothing. Colson, Sydney, nothing. Not a spark. No vitality. It's a ghost town. We brought 5 chairs to a gunfight, so to speak. AC's bench players are creating plays, changing the pace, and providing their starters with respite. In the meantime, and for 38 minutes, the bench looks unlike fans while Clark plays Superman. Where is the progress? The coaching that turns role players into contributors is missing. The next up mentality is where if you can't trust anyone outside of your top 3, it's not depth. Furthermore, the Fever's bench is now only as functional as a submarine's screen door. Tell the truth. Is there anyone on this bench that you have faith in? Let's simply put an end to this. Are we blaming the referees? Yes, Caitlin is frequently hit without a call. Every game, we witness it. However, the Fever failed to make a single free throw during the first half of this game. Do you know why? They didn't deserve them since they didn't assault. This team hovers around the 3-point line, playing as if it's allergic to contact. Just perimeter play and hope no drives, no physicalities. Swing, pasa. You must force the issue if you want calls. Asia Wilson accomplished just that. Kelsey Plum does just that. You compel the referees to make a call by going into the trees and drawing the foul. The Fever did not receive whistles since they were passive instead. Therefore, no, the Stripes are not to blame today. This one is really popular. Everything, I need you all to give this some serious thought. Is Caitlin Clark receiving too much coaching? Because the woman we are currently witnessing is not the bold, self-assured product of the logo assassin we knew at Iowa before every possession. She looks to the bench, hesitates, and passes up shot. It isn't instinctual. Interference is what that is. She seems to be being subdued by micromanagement, as though someone were whispering in her ear, "Don't shoot that. Execute the play. Follow the script," and everything that made her dangerous is being eliminated. Although structure can be taught without stifling creativity, she currently seems to be trapped in a system that doesn't trust her to be who she is. How much longer can she play this way until she loses it? Let's be honest about it. This game was coached by Becky Hammond. It was seen by Stephanie White. Becky made moves, changed coverages, rotated players, and increased pressure when the aces were struck early. Stephanie was coached by her. She is forced to use the same lineups, broken plays, and tactics, as if expecting outcomes from repetition would happen on its own. She waited until it was too late to call a timeout, even after the fever had subsided. She maintained her composure even after the lead disappeared. Too quiet, almost, as if she didn't think anything needed to be fixed. Do you want to know why close games are lost by the Fever? This is the reason. The other coach is at work. White is observing. Do you believe Stephanie White is in over her head in this situation? So here we are. One more lead blown, another effort squandered. This team lost a victory they should have had in the bag on another occasion due to the same coaching errors and lazy habits. Let's not mince words. Caitlin Clark has evolved into more than just another gifted young athlete. She plays across generations, the WNBA's fastest player to reach 400 assists, an apparatus for marketing, an increase in ratings, a player who draws attention to the game by packing arenas on the road. How is she being treated for the Fever? As if she were merely a piece. As if she will continue to work hard even as everything else falls apart around her. For what length of time is she expected to work alone? Since she has no plays selected for her, no genuine help off the bench, and no structure surrounding her, how long is she supposed to continue grinning during interviews and leading this team to victory? Because the standings aren't just filled with L's. These are distinct and strong warning signs. Time is running out.